everyone. So what I'm going to do today is give you a kind of a demo of a government report using Quarto, and kind of briefly show you of what like workflow might work like using this. So we're going to be using this report that I have created using Quarto. And what we're going to do first is I will just kind of walk you through of how collaborating on a report might look like if you had that report on GitHub. And so imagine you're in a world where you have your nice GitHub space that is private to your center or your team. So don't kind of worry about that aspect. Right now I've made everything public because for teaching purposes. But imagine you're in this sort of safe space where you're doing this, and sort of under your enterprise account, for example. And I will post a link to this. There we go. So we're here, and this is a report, and the nature of this report is that we have data on a number of different regions. This example is based on the Pacific Northwest and on the endangered and threatened salmonids in the Pacific Northwest. And for each ESU, evolutionarily significant unit, these, as I said, are listed species, we have a standard chapter. And you can see I just put in some template text in here, but imagine that this is real text here. And each chapter has a basic format. We have some background information. We have a general location map. We have a table that has the recent trends. In this one, there's only one population, but if we go to Lower Columbia, that probably has quite a few recent trends. You can see there's quite a few populations here. So it just depends on how many populations are in each ESU. And then we have our raw data, and we have all the tables that come with that. It looks like some of these didn't have data for that time frame. Okay, so you have all the data. If you click over here, oh, it's not doing that. Darn. Okay, I set the table of contents too small, but if I had set it a little larger, we would see all the individual subpopulations here, and we could easily go click and look at those. So the nice thing about this is that this is all generated automatically as the data are updated. We can rerun the report, update all the figures, update all the tables. But let's imagine now we're on a team and we are collaborating on this. The team has different types of people on it. Obviously not everyone's a coder. Some people are working on the text, other people are your data people, but the whole team is also looking at the report and identifying issues. So here we have our HTML version, and somebody sees, okay, look, whoa, what's going on with Kalama here? So we want to report an issue here. So issue is the Kalama plot has a problem. Yeah, and too many lines in it. Okay, so I just saw that and I quickly can submit that, so we have a record of that. Let's go back here. Where was I? I think I was Lower Columbia. Okay, so here's the issue. I could also do this a little more carefully. I could do, Control-4 to make everyone, really clear what's going on there. So I just screenshotted that, saved it to the clipboard, and now I'm going to go back to that issue. issues. Here's the Kalama plot, and I'm going to edit that and just paste that in there. So, that was really quick. I was just going through it, but now we have a record of that, and the rest of the team is going to quickly be able to see what's going on there. Okay. Let's hop back over here. And so let's imagine a situation where somebody sees something rather problematic, and they notice that in, say, 2004, that shouldn't be that data. They know somebody on the team has a special knowledge about this population, and they know, or this ESU and this population, they know that's wrong. So they see that's wrong. They go over to Steelhead and they look at 2004 and, oh, wow, that one's wrong too. So we've got to, and they go through a few and they notice that there's kind of a major problem. So they're going to report that. Sorry, I keep jumping like that. I need to open a new tab so it doesn't do that. So they're going to open a new issue and say, hey, problem with 2004. It seems to be wrong across all data. Okay, so that's kind of a major problem. And when I've been in big reports, these kind of things happen all the time, and it is a major amount of work for the team to deal with that problem. We've got to update all our tables, got to update all our figures. So I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that in just a moment, but I want to show you one more thing, which is another thing on your team. You can collaborate directly in GitHub on this. So for example, I can go right here and say edit page here. And, edit this text. This isn't the nicest way to do this, and you're going to see how it's better in RStudio, but you could do this, right? So this is a new line. I just do that. And then I go down here, fixing the text like that. There we go. And so I could be, looking at that HTML and editing the text right here if that worked for the team. Okay, so let's hop back over here and I'll show you one other thing that is kind of nice with this. And a nice feature of Quarto is that we can easily output to different formats. And I've set it up here. We can download. I can download this PDF. Go ahead and do that. And so you can see this is basically happening automatically. I didn't create, all this like manually. So it's really nice to be able to go between different formats and, all these things like these list of tables, which, I've been involved in having to create list of tables. It's a ton of work. So this does all that for us. A nice feature, another really nice feature also, and this is something that Quarto has really helped us with, is getting all these automatic numbering of our tables and getting the cross references into our text. So that is all kind of automated. We don't have to keep track of that kind of stuff manually. And what it's going to look good in HTML, PDF, and we could also look at this in Word. So I'm not going to open it right now, but I could download a Word version of this also. I don't know if I have it already opened up. No, I don't. Okay. So now let's go on. I want to just show you some of the features that are different when you set up your report like this. And now I'm going to hop on to onto RStudio, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this report. The basic structure of the report is in this file. It's called Quarto YAML. Now, if you're looking at this and you're feeling like, oh, wow, this is so complicated, remember, we work in a team. The whole team is not developing this. You have one person who's developing this. If you're developing reports that are have a similar structure, you know, if you're doing these assessments that all have the same structure, then you're only developing this template kind of once, and then you're just repeating the template. Within this template, the order of our chapters is right here. And I showed you the example of, like, you know, we have a data change. Another change that happens a lot and can really take a lot of time to fix is when you need to change the order of your chapters. So here I ordered the chapters by regions. IC is Interior Columbia, LC is Lower Columbia, UW is Upper Willamette. And perhaps we showed this to the regional office and they said, great, it looks really nice, but we need things ordered by species. So how do I do that? So now all I do is I root to steelhead. You know, they probably want a particular order of the regions, but let's not care about that right now. Interior, steelhead, lower, and I want to get my upper Willamette up there with the other ones. Okay. Let's imagine if we, let's save that. I'm gonna go ahead and render to HTML. So let's imagine that I did that. If I were working in Word, if I did that, all my cross references to my tables are going to break. And I am going to have to really do a lot of work updating my table of contents and those, you know, those list of all the tables. It's massive amounts of work. And when we do it this way, we put in the effort to kind of automate this. You'll see how long it takes for all these. This is about a 50-page report right now, 36 seconds in. And 42. Keep going. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now it's reordered everything. And now all our tables are going to be properly renumbered. Our figures have the right numbers. We don't have to go back and manually do that. Wherever we reference this table, that's going to be automatically fixed. Okay. So that's going to save us massive amounts of time. I talked about that example where the data changed. Well, if we updated the data, we'd update it here. We'd make that update. We'd commit it with a note about exactly what was going on. No going back through email threads to figure out, hey, why did the data change? It's right there in the record why that changed. And then what I just did with rebuilding, that's what we do there. So we rebuild it. Everything's going to update for us. All our tables and figures are going to update. The last thing I want to really quickly show is a really cool feature of something you might not have thought about, which is collaborating on your references. So these are our citations. That's a really big job. A lot of times we're doing this manually, and that's just tons of work. So what you can do here is I've got these bib files, and I just kind of mocked up this one, this SADAR one, which is, I went on to one of your reports and I scraped it. You can take a look here. Let me throw that in the chat here. Sorry, I have to find where you are so I can find the chat. There it is. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Great. So I just scraped off one of your reports. I think the first one I scraped in a whole bunch of references so I could just demo this. And in here, I have a copy of that reference database. And now let's see here where I'm going to go to the text. Where's text? Come on, it's down here. Okay, I'm going to go to the conclusion and just show you an example. So here I'm in the editor mode, and let's say I would like to add a reference to a citation. I'm going to do @ and it is searching through that SADAR database that I downloaded from Zotero, and it's all right here. And you can see I can just go here and look at what I need. I can search. Maybe I know it's going to be something about sharks. So these must have mentioned shark somewhere. So I decide it's that one. There we go. Okay. And now that is going to add that citation there. And later, if somebody figures out that there's an error in that citation, they're going to edit it on Zotero, and I will just sync up to that. So it really makes this really tedious thing we have to do, keeping track of our citation, really makes that easy. It's going to automatically create our reference list for us when we rebuild. I think I have some references here to show you. Yeah, references here. Here we go. Yeah, so this is built automatically for us. If you don't like the format, you can change it. Okay, I'm going to stop there.